Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are looking at a place that honestly sometimes feels less like a city and more like a simulation. You know exactly the place I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
You see the photos on Instagram, the futuristic super trees that glow purple, the hotel that looks like a surfboard balanced on three skyscrapers. The streets are so clean you feel guilty walking on them.
It's Singapore. And you're right, it often feels like a movie set.
Yeah.
It's the Instagram capital of the world in so many ways.
It really is. It's got this reputation as the perfect destination. Safe, amazing food, hyper efficient. But here's the tension we're unpacking today.
Mm.
We've been looking at a ton of research, including a guide called Singapore Looks Perfect
Mm.
Until You Try to Stay 6 Months.
And that title it captures the friction perfectly. There's a massive glitch in the simulation if you're trying to go from being a tourist to being a resident.
Exactly. It's the difference between being a guest at a dinner party and trying to move into the house.
Okay.
So our mission today isn't to review an infinity pool.
Right.
We are digging into the logistics of the long stay. We're looking at the immigration traps that catch people out, the physical reality of a climate that's way more aggressive than it looks, and the economics of actually living there.
We're going to decode the red flags that immigration officers are trained to spot, the underground city that keeps the whole place running, and, how to hack the cost of living so you don't go broke.
Okay, let's start with the biggest hurdle, the open door myth. I think there's this assumption, especially for Western travelers, that Singapore is this global hub, so it must be easy to just be there.
That is the first and probably most dangerous mistake you can make.
Ah.
The sources really highlight this key distinction. Singapore is open for business and for tourism. It is not open for casual residency.
But most people get in visa-free, right, for like 30 or 90 days.
They do, which feels like a lifetime. So you think, great, I'll stay for 2 months, pop over to Thailand for a weekend, come back, refresh the clock. That's the playbook in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, the classic visa run.
And that right there, the visa run, is the trap. In places like Vietnam or Bali, that's been a common strategy for years. But in Singapore, that behavior is a massive red flag.
Why is it so different there? Is it actually illegal?
It's not technically illegal to travel, but Singaporean immigration officers are highly trained to look for intent. The guide explains that if they see a pattern, you stay 89 days, leave for 2, try to come back, they don't see a tourist.
They see an illegal resident.
Exactly. They assume you're trying to live there without paying into the system or that you're working illegally. And it's not just a guy looking at a stamp, it's a digital footprint. They can just deny you entry.
And getting denied entry in Singapore isn't just a try again tomorrow situation, is it?
No, it goes on your permanent record. It can seriously mess up your ability to travel to other countries, not just Singapore. It's a nightmare.
So if the whole digital nomad backpacker strategy is out,
Yeah.
if we can't just cycle tourist visas, what are the legal channels? What if I really want to do this above board?
Well, the options are incredibly specific and, frankly, pretty elite. The sources lay out 3 main official routes. First, the employment pass.
So the job comes first.
The job comes first. You need a Singaporean company to sponsor you before you arrive. You can't just land and start looking for work.
Okay, what's number 2?
The long-term visit pass, or LTVP. This is usually family-tied. So you marry a citizen or a permanent resident, but the guide is clear, this isn't instant. The processing time can be really lengthy.
And the third one,
The investor scheme.
which I'm guessing is the Batman option. You just need to be incredibly rich.
Pretty much. You need to be making a significant capital investment. So, yeah, not for the freelancer.
This brings us to a really interesting workaround the source mentioned. Because Singapore doesn't have a specific digital nomad visa.
Yeah, they don't. Which is interesting given how many of their neighbors do.
So the strategy they suggest is geography.
It's a kind of regulatory arbitrage. You don't base yourself in Singapore. You base yourself in, say, Johor Bahru in Malaysia or Batam in Indonesia.
Which are right next door.
Exactly. These places often have digital nomad visas and a drastically lower cost of living. And you treat Singapore as your high-end weekend getaway.
That's actually brilliant. You get the Singapore fix without the immigration headache because your visits are genuinely short-term.
That's it. It's a smart way to hack the system legally.
Okay, let's assume we've sorted the paperwork. We're legally there. Now we have to deal with the physical reality.
The climate.
The guide spends so much time on the weather. At first, I thought it was a bit dramatic. I mean, it's the tropics. We know it's hot.
It's not just the heat, though. It's the consistency and the texture of the air. The source calls it a sticky reality. You're looking at 25 to 35 Celsius. That's like 77 to 95 Fahrenheit every single day,
Well,
all year.
it's the humidity that gets you. The walk outside and your shirt is instantly a second skin kind of humidity.
Right. And the advice is so practical. If you pack heavy denim or thick synthetics, you are just going to be miserable. But here's the paradox, and this is the part that catches everyone out.
The freezing indoors.
It is a thermal shock. You walk out of this humid sauna into a mall or the subway, and it is Arctic. They blast the AC. The source explicitly says you need to carry a survival kit of a light cardigan or a scarf.
It's such a weird mental image. Packing a scarf for the equator.
But it's totally necessary. You go from sweating to shivering in 30 seconds flat. And this need to control the environment has literally shaped the city's architecture. This is where we get the underground world.
I was fascinated by this. It sounds like something out of science fiction.
It feels like it. The city has this huge network of subterranean malls and walkways, especially around Orchard Road and Marina Bay. But it's not just for shopping.
It's a life support system.
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
It connects the MRT stations to office buildings and malls. You can navigate huge parts of the city without ever seeing the sun or feeling the humidity. It's designed to keep people cool and dry.
It's incredibly efficient, but it also just speaks to how manicured everything is.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the stuff above ground. When I think of Singapore, I think of that skyline.
Marina Bay Sands.
The ship in the sky, and the super trees at Gardens by the Bay. The source says if you want the best photos, you shouldn't just look at them from the ground.
No, you've got to go up on the OCBC Skyway. And you have
Wow.
to catch the Garden Rhapsody, the light and sound show at night. It's free, which is a rare thing there.
But what struck me was this concept of city in a garden. It's not an accident.
It's extremely deliberate. It's a government mandate. They didn't just build a concrete jungle. They wove nature into the steel. You have the Botanic Gardens, a UNESCO site, and Fort Canning Park for history. It feels futuristic, but also really grounded.
It's solar punk before solar punk was even a thing.
That's a great way to put it.
But a city isn't just buildings, it's people. And Singapore is this incredible melting pot. You hear it the second you land.
You really do. I mean, 4 official languages: English, Malay, Mandarin, Tamil. But the real language of the street is Singlish.
Which can be so baffling for a newcomer.
It's this colloquial blend of everything. It's efficient, it's fast, and it's the soul of the city. And that diversity is mapped out in the neighborhoods. The source says you have to get out of the central business district to see the real culture.
Kampong Glam sounded amazing to me.
That's the Malay Arab Quarter. You have the Sultan Mosque with its giant golden dome, but right next door is Haji Lane, which is just this explosion of street art, indie boutiques, and cafes,
And then there's Little India.
which is sensory overload. Serangoon Road, the smell of jasmine and spices, temple bells, and the Mustafa Center.
The 24-hour mall that sells literally everything.
Literally everything. You can buy gold jewelry, a sack of rice, and a flat-screen TV at 3 in the morning. It's chaotic in the absolute best way.
And Chinatown, of course.
Yeah, with the Buddha Tooth Relic Temple, it's a mix of traditional shop houses and now a lot of very upscale modern dining.
But with all this diversity, Chinese, Malay, Indian, expat, there's this very strong, unified social fabric. And it's held together by rules.
Oh, Singapore runs on order. If you're coming from a more chaotic city, it can feel a little stifling, but it's what makes the place work so well.
The no eating on the subway rule is famous.
And it is strictly enforced. No eating, no drinking, not even water. It keeps the system absolutely spotless.
And the queuing.
The line culture is sacred. If you cut in line, you're not just being rude, you are breaking a fundamental social contract. You will get stared down.
What about tipping?
Don't! A service charge is almost always included. Tipping can actually create confusion.
It really is a follow the rules kind of place.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pivot to the thing everyone cares about most. Money. Specifically, food costs. Singapore has this reputation for being devastatingly expensive.
It is if you live like a tourist. If you're eating at cafes in the business district or hotel restaurants, you're burning $30, $40, $50 a meal easy.
Which is completely unsustainable for a long stay.
Totally. But the source gives us the antidote, the Hawker Center.
This is the UNESCO-recognized food culture, right?
It is. These are basically open-air food courts. But they aren't fast food. They're specialized stalls, often run by the same family for generations, cooking 1 or 2 dishes to perfection.
And the price point is what?
You're looking at 5 to 10 Singapore dollars for a meal that could be Michelin rated.
That's a massive difference. The guide mentioned a few specific spots.
Lau Pa Sat is the famous one. It's in this beautiful Victorian building, and at night they shut the street down and it becomes CT Street. Smoke, grilled meat, plastic stools. It's iconic.
And for something a bit more local.
Maxwell Food Center is legendary for Tian chicken rice, and Tekka Center in Little India for biryani.
The atmosphere seems pretty intense, though.
It's communal, it's noisy. You grab a table, you might share it with a stranger. It's cash preferred in a lot of spots. And it's hot, there's no AC. But that is the authentic Singapore experience. If you aren't sweating over a bowl of laksa, are you even there?
That's a fair point. Oh, and a quick budget tip from the source that I loved, water.
Yes. The tap water is perfectly safe to drink. Do not buy plastic bottles every time you're thirsty. Just bring a refillable bottle. It's a waste of money in plastic.
Okay, so we're fed, we're sweating, we're following the rules, but sometimes the city gets to be too much. Where do we go to escape?
The source splits this into the busy escape and the quiet escape.
The busy one is Sentosa, I'm guessing?
Sentosa Island, the playground, Universal Studios, beach clubs, you name it. You take a cable car to get there. It's fun, but it's very manufactured, very commercial.
And if I want actual silence, because Singapore never feels silent.
Then you go to St. John's and Lazarus Islands.
Lazarus Island. Even the name sounds peaceful.
It's pristine, white sand, turquoise water. But here's the catch, and the source really stresses this. There is zero infrastructure. No shops, no vending machines, no food.
So if you don't pack water, you're in real trouble.
You are completely on your own. It's raw nature, a total contrast to the mainland.
I like that. And for a different kind of depth, historical depth, the guide pointed to something called the Battle Box.
This is fascinating. It's inside Fort Canning Hill. It's the actual underground command center from World War II.
This is where the British surrendered Singapore.
Yes. It's where they made the decision to surrender to the Japanese in 1942. Standing in those bunkers, it gives you this very heavy, grounding perspective. It reminds you that Singapore isn't just a shiny miracle. It's a place with deep, complex scars.
It adds a lot of gravity to the experience.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's bring it all home. We've talked about getting in, eating, exploring, but let's talk brass tacks for someone who's actually trying to pull off this long stay. Where do you sleep?
This is the single biggest line item in your budget. Accommodation.
And hotels are out, right? For a long stay.
Unless you have an unlimited budget, yes. You can't live in a tiny hotel room for 60 days without going crazy. You need a kitchen. You need laundry. You need space.
So what's the alternative then? Where do you even find these places?
The source points to service departments or short-term rental agencies. You need that home infrastructure.
Why is the kitchen so critical?
Because even with cheap hawker food, you'll want to make your own coffee. You'll want to store fruit or yogurt. Just having a fridge and a stove, it changes the psychology of the stay. It makes it feel like a residence, not a trip.
And this brings up a good point. If you're just Googling cheap hotel, you're going to completely miss the options that are actually viable for a month or more.
Right. You have to look at platforms designed specifically for extended stays.
Exactly. And this is where a resource like moveandstay.com can be incredibly helpful. I mean, they've been doing this for over 25 years, focusing on that exact gap between a short tourist trip and a permanent move.
And they specialize in the Asia-Pacific region, which is key.
Right. If you're looking for service departments or even serviced offices, because you might need to work, moveandstay.com connects you with those options. It's trusted by professionals, by corporate teams, so you know the listings are legitimate.
That legitimacy is so important, especially in a city with strict housing rules like Singapore. You want to know your rental is all above board.
100%. So if you're trying to set up a comfortable home base instead of just crashing in a hotel, definitely check out moveandstay.com. It just streamlines that entire headache.
And beyond the type of housing, location is a huge factor too.
Huge.
The MRT system is world-class. You do not need to pay the premium to live right on Orchard Road. You can stay slightly outside the center in places like Tiong Bahru or Queenstown and save a ton on rent while only being a 20-minute train ride away.
Okay, one final financial hack before we wrap, the GST refund.
Free money at the airport. Tourists can claim the goods and services tax back. If you spend over 100 Singapore dollars at participating stores, just keep the receipt. You scan it at a kiosk when you leave, and you get about 9% back.
It's a nice little parting gift from the government.
It is.
So pulling this all together, Singapore really is a paradox. It looks like the easiest place in the world to visit, but it puts up some very high walls if you actually want to stay.
It welcomes you as a consumer, but it vets you very strictly as a resident. It demands that you respect its boundaries, whether that's immigration law, social etiquette, or just, dressing for the humidity.
That hot outside, cold inside dynamic is really a metaphor for the whole place, isn't it?
It really is. You have to be adaptable. You have to balance the high-end Marina Bay life with the gritty, authentic hawker centers. You have to navigate the strict rules to enjoy the incredible safety and efficiency they provide.
And here's the provocative thought to leave you with.
Yeah.
We talked about that digital nomad workaround living in Malaysia or Indonesia and just visiting Singapore on weekends.
Right.
If that is the most viable route for so many people, does that make Singapore the ultimate weekend city rather than a home? Is it sort of designed to be consumed in short, intense bursts?
That is the question. And looking at their underground city, their climate control, is Singapore a blueprint? As the world gets hotter, are we all going to be living in these climate-controlled, subterranean-connected garden cities?
It's a glimpse into a possible future. Whether that's a utopian or dystopian one depends on how much you like air conditioning.
And rules.
Thanks for diving in with us. Whether you're packing for a week or trying to hack a 6-month stay, hopefully you're ready for the reality of the Lion City.
Safe travels.
See you on the next Deep Dive.